What the heck weird place is this I find myself in? What is this thing called?
Thanksgiving week.
The crap pack something? The
The
backpack?
backpack show where we bring you success insights from unusual places.
Well, this must be an unusual place because we're here. Thanksgiving week. What
Well,
the
we're both
heck?
here at the same time, which recently has been
I
rare. So,
know. I do solo shows. You do solo shows. It's been in the tabloids that maybe the Sonny and Cher have broke up.
oh, hardly.
So hardly indeed,
My
but
inconsiderate mother passed away. So
why is she
I
gonna
had
go
to
and
miss
die on
one.
our show like
I had to
that?
miss one. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then you
And
were on the road. So
yeah,
to
I
visit
was
with
in
your
Vegas.
parents, which, I think is a very valuable endeavor. So,
Right. Well, as you can see, the crowds of people are rushing in to say hi to us and everything like that. So we're gonna have a killer show today. We've got
you're
no guests today.
ridiculous.
We're gonna talk on some
Well, I mean, we have no guests, and
Thanksgiving.
we also were just like, let's just do one. Because
Yeah,
this week being Thanksgiving, we thought people will be busy
it'd be
on the
kind of fun to do
usual,
one.
yeah, shopping and stuff the day
So
after Thanksgiving.
I'm just gonna go find you the
I feel
link
like you would
again.
not be a person who shops the day after Thanksgiving. I actually have done it in stores, but only like a few times when I needed something specific. Like when I was outfitting a new house after I
Mhm.
moved to Florida this years ago, I went out at like 5 in the morning to fight people for housewares and like really cheap towels and stuff. And I did damn good. I felt pretty good about it. But ever
So
since the online thing really took off, that's where I do my shopping.
yeah, so you didn't go for like big electronics or something?
Hi, everyone. Tim Kitzrow from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, welcoming you to The Backpack Show. Your hosts, Chris Brogan, Kerry Gorgone, Boom Shakalaka.
Backpack show.
No, I did not do big electronics as if.
I
No,
thought that's the
I
only
was
reason
going for
people
like
did that. Like, not even kidding. Like, I
I
thought
mean,
that's the only reason.
no. All right. Well, so I was trying to outfit an entire house with stuff and I needed everything like towels
Uh,
and rugs and whatever. And it was so cheap because nobody goes for that stuff. Like that's the reason they think
right.
it's so cheap. So yeah, I did all right. And then I even found like a secret register tucked away behind the
Ooh.
curtains or something, which is like the best thing ever. So all things considered, it was not a terrible experience, but I never wanted to do it again. So
Yeah, I've
no.
never gone to the Black Friday shopping. Um, Not entirely true. I went very late in the day, and because Harold had wanted something, and it wasn't that bad at that point.
Yeah, because
But
most of the good stuff's gone, like all the doorbusters and stuff. So you're just doing
yeah,
regular shopping. You're right. It's not so bad.
everyone's busted the door at that point. They've all gone insane. They've all had incredible, YouTube clips of them fighting over a 80-inch TV. I'm guessing 80 is the number this year for TVs.
Oh my
Like
gosh, I don't even know.
every year it's obviously bigger, and I have a 50-inch that only cost me a few $100. So my guess is it must be we're up to 80 or something. Has to be.
Your monitor is ridiculous. The email carry@chrisbrogan.com with your rally ID, and we'll send you some backpack coin for joining us
Yeah,
live for our special pop-up Thanksgiving episode. The password is
yeah.
pie caken. If you've
Pie
never heard of,
caking.
yeah, well, you've heard of turducken. You know how they like put, was it turkey inside of a duck, inside of whatever chicken that gets all sort of slapped together.
Right, right.
Pie caken is a layer of pecan pie, a layer of pumpkin pie, and a layer of spice cake all slapped together with buttercream. And on top is like apple pie filling on top. So they call it
Pie
pie
caking.
caken. So that's the password is pie caken.
That's the password.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay if you can't spell it though.
Piecaken, pie caken.
Okay. Wasn't as
I
hard
feel
as
like
I
I'm in
thought it
the
was.
weirdest spelling bee.
The weirdest spelling bee.
Send us the password.
Hey,
We'll send you a little backpack coin just to say thank you for
this guy
joining us.
looks kind of familiar.
I don't think he's famous.
Yeah, but he's still very Joseph Jaffe shaped.
Aw.
So, Joseph, you want some coins? I mean, I don't know. I haven't done any of those rally drops that all our brethren seem to do, but
Oh, on Bonfire and stuff?
yeah,
I
I still
know.
don't even know. I don't even think I know how to log into Bonfire. But
So I will never set up anything like that. You'll have to do it if it's something you want to do because it scares me. Like every time I go into
yeah,
crypto to do anything, I spend 10 minutes sweating bullets thinking I just send a bunch of money out into nowhere.
wrecking things.
It
You
scares
know,
me.
it's funny how many people have asked me for just some 101 stuff on it, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like I've given a lot of 101 stuff for one thing, and on the other hand, I also feel like Jeff Pulver's got his show doing it. Brian Fanzo's got his show doing it. The only thing that is more lousy than the amount of people making podcasts are people making podcasts about crypto.
Well, I mean, that happens with everything. Jane says her Rally account locked her out.
Oh, you have to go to whatever it is, support@rally.io, and they'll help you.
Yeah, I get it unlocked. Whoops, sorry.
Sorry.
Want some pie cakein? Stop touching buttons. You should out of practice. So I'll go find you a picture of pie cakein. It is like ridiculous looking.
Yeah, I want to see it. I want some pie cakein. So, one topic we were going to have today, we're also going to probably do our favorite game show, Loaded Questions. We'll do a Thanksgiving edition, which our good friend and Loaded Questions maker and creator made.
Oh, Eric Poses you're talking about?
Thank you. That one, yeah, right.
Yes. Eric Poses. I love him. The creator of Loaded Questions and a lot of other fun games that we have like a whole stack of them back on my bookshelf. So this is a pie cakein. And it is ridiculous, as you can fully see. I don't feel delicious. I know. I don't feel like you could actually eat all of it. You could probably take one bite of each layer and then be pretty done. But it's just the concept, like the idea that it's all slapped together. Like, I don't know.
You underestimate my ability to get holiday desserts down.
Maybe I do. I don't know. I always bring a chocolate cream pie to holiday gatherings because I find that it goes the fastest and everybody's like super excited for something that's not the typical.
Nice. I like that
Joseph
idea.
Jaffe says he got scammed for the first time yesterday. Lost just under $400. Irritated with myself, but learned a lot. Wiser now. Oh, no. Sorry, Joseph Jaffe.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very kind.
Well, very fun. One thing I've noticed, and then we can get on to the actual point of the show, which is gratitude and thankfulness and cultivating a mindset that brings you what you want. I will say I've seen people on purpose, like when people will talk about crypto issues they're having on Twitter or other places, they'll pile on and be like, oh, contact support. It totally worked for me. And they'll give you a fake link. I could see where if you're desperate, you might fall for that. Like in the moment you're very upset, just don't click any of those. Just go straight to the website that you were already dealing with and click their official support things.
Right.
Otherwise, it could happen to the best of us. Hey, gluten-free Oreos.
There's the people who need to have the gluten challenges, so I can see it.
That's true. Yeah, pie cakein, not such a hot idea, I guess, for those folks.
Yeah, the gluten challenged.
More pie cakein for me. I don't know if gluten's like great for any of us, to be honest, but
probably not. That and animal milk.
That's true. I switched away from animal milk a long time ago. Not for any like political reason, but it does a lot of good things for my skin. So that I turned around, that I've taken to poking my skin with needles to put ink in it instead. So I'm really good to my skin.
It seems like you have a little bit more art there since the last time you were on the show. Is that?
Oh, I've been working on this one since October, like the rest of the sleeve to go down. And it's, I was going to finish it a couple weekends ago, but I had to move my appointment. So anyway, I'm getting more lavender, got some leaves in there. Eventually I'll have all roses and stuff all the way down. It is a long process.
Delightful.
Yeah.
Delightful. So let's talk a little bit about that theme. Oh, so the gluten-free Oreos go great with chocolate almond milk. I like that idea.
I mean, what doesn't?
Right. We've been talking about, and I have been talking a lot about mindset stuff lately, a ton. And I've been talking about it because I can't get over how it just keeps working. I can't get over how I keep finding tangible is a weird way to say it, but results were in which I'll take an action and the action will yield a benefit that I'm not used to getting any other way. So for instance, this whole concept of manifesting, this is something that the people who are like the book The Secret and all that talk about a lot, which is like, if you talk about such and such a lot, if you bring it up often, if you're constantly having conversations about it as if it's going to happen or it has happened.
Or even thinking about it.
Yeah. It comes to be a lot more often. And there's some, obvious, you're not going to get bitten by a radioactive spider anytime soon. There's certain laws of physics that probably apply. Someone isn't coming back from the dead, but you try to manifest things that could happen in the real wide world. So For instance, I had said for most of my entire life, almost my entire life, I'm bad with money. And then I read in Jen Sincero's book, You're a Badass at Making Money. She said, why would you ever think the universe would give you money if you're walking around telling it that you're bad at money? Like, it's going to give it to people who are good with money. And I thought, I hate that I believe this, but I think she's got a point. Like, I think she's onto something there. And so I started saying, well, okay, fine. And so I started writing in my journal daily, I have a great relationship with money, or money and I get along really well, or man, I'm good with money. And I do it every single day. Well, shortly after, that's what started happening. And I don't know what to say otherwise. I don't know how to explain it otherwise. But the minute I started believing it, the minute I just started getting it, and money, like not like ridiculous wealth, but way more money than I had. I was dead broke in February 2020, dead broke, like had nothing. And now I am quite the opposite. So like, for instance, I said to my dad, I said, man, I don't know how to explain to you how cool this crypto stuff is. I said, for instance, watch, I just paid $500 for this new coin that I've never heard of called CRO. And it's the coin underneath crypto.com. I said, I'm just going to buy some for $500. I'm at my dad's house. I fall asleep on the recliner chair. And 2 hours later, I didn't sleep for 2 whole hours, but 2 hours later, I went to go check on it again. And I had $1,200. I said, well, there you go, Dad. 500 just turned into 1,200. And how long was that? And he looked at his watch. He said, 2 hours. I said, can I show you anything else that would make you feel more convinced that I just more than doubled $500? And he was like, I don't know. I'm still kind of skeptical. And I was like, okay, I don't know what to do for you then. And so,
Yeah.
And that's fair. Like, I'm not mad at his perspective on it. I'm just more or less like, this thing keeps happening to me. So I approach it in a lot of different ways. Maybe I'm curious to know your thoughts on it though, because like, as such a longtime friend of mine, such somebody that's so close to me, you must be like, oh man, like this is annoying or something, or like, I've really noticed you do these things differently. What's your take been, and how strange has it been to be around me as that's changed?
One of the things I love / hate about you is that you will call people on their BS. So if somebody is saying like, oh, that never works for me, or, oh, I always screw that up, then you're like, well, you're saying that you always screw that up. So probably you're screwing it up because you're allowing yourself to screw that up or something like that. And then you have to be like, oh, now you have to look at your stuff and fix it. But since I've started taking what you've said to heart about certain things, like I was one of those people that was like, frick, I break crypto every freaking time. Like it never works. I always end up messing it up. I always have less money. I stopped doing that. I just stopped doing that. I didn't even say great things like, oh, I'm going to kill it with crypto. I was just like, I can do this. I don't see why I can't do this. Everybody could do this. And since then, I've managed to just randomly get better at it. I don't know if I guess you wouldn't say it's random, but so for example, I had registered a couple of .eth addresses, which is important. So says Jeremiah Aoyang, our good friend on Twitter at Zhao Yang, says it's important because it's sort of like we're in the very early days of Web3. So if you think back to the internet and how you had to like put in a long string of numbers and letters and stuff to like get to, or what numbers to get to a website back in the day, and then all of a sudden you could do like google.com, that's coming, he says, for crypto wallets, because crypto wallets are similarly like letters and numbers and really long. So you can get a domain like kerrygorgone.eth and boom, everybody can get to you. So I was like, fine, Jeremiah, like I'll do this thing. And it was very urgent to do it because apparently people are starting to like squat on people's domains. Like back in the early days when somebody bought McDonald's.com, that wasn't McDonald's, and they were like all mad. That's going to happen. With .eth addresses, people are saying. So that's one of the things that because of you, I was like, you and Jeremiah, I was like, fine, I'll do this thing. Like an investment in the future. Like I'll do this thing I don't fully understand right now because eventually it will make sense to me. And so months later, like 3 months later, the company that's registering those said, hey, we're going to give a bonus to everyone who registered one of those already here. And I kind of didn't even understand how they're going to calculate it. I'm like, whatever. But I had renewed my registration for these domains through for the next 60 years. Like it's ridiculous because it wasn't that much more expensive to just do that than it was with all the fees to just do the stupid registration in the first place. So I was like, sure.
Right.
Anyway, so out of nowhere on some Tuesday, I get a coin drop for a whole bunch of coin, like a whole bunch, because I did that. So that's the kind of thing that happens now because I've changed my mindset about it. And instead of saying this, I don't understand this, so I'm not going to do it. Now I say, all right, I don't fully understand it, but I'm going to learn what I can and trust the people I know who do understand it. And I'm going to try.
And just in
that's
case,
how it
when we're
works.
saying coin drop and it was kind of cool, we won't go details, but I got the same coin drop and it was for thousands of dollars. So it was not an insignificant amount of money dropped on us. So
Right, that we had not looked for. So it's like I
no,
registered the thing because Jeremiah said to register the thing. It was
Same.
important. Someday it will be important. And I was like,
Yep.
okay. So anyway, that's the kind of thing I think I've opened myself up to by taking to heart what you've said, that if you place on yourself limitations, then everybody else will abide by those limitations. Like you have to unencumber yourself of those limiting beliefs.
agreed.
Otherwise, you're setting your own ceiling. You're just
Right.
not going to go any higher if you don't believe that you will.
So one thing to say about it is that, I started some of this practice when I started reading Karma by Sadhguru. Karma has been sort of my Bible this year. I've read it, I think I'm on 5. I'm on number 5 reading through. And so one of the things that I've been doing is just sort of learning a bit about, kind of a very Eastern philosophy version of all this. But there are other people. So for instance, my YouTube, how it recommends based on sort of what you've been watching lately. Because I've been watching more and more of these people who do manifesting stuff, I'm learning about all these people that I didn't exactly know much about, like Louise Hay from Hay House. She's big in this movement, and she has people either steal her audio files and then mash them up with these really crazy videos, or she'll sometimes put one out and then someone will steal it and still do it a different way. But basically, there's a lot of audio of Louise Hay saying affirmations and stuff like that. So I'll play them sometimes when I'm on the way to being asleep. I'll play them sometimes when I'm awake. And some of them you feel so dopey saying, and yet you think, well, but this has worked. I have seen it work. I have made it work. I'm just going to go along with it, even if she's gone, a little further than I have in that process. So I've got that. And then there's just more and more and more people doing it. Like that's the other weird thing is if it didn't work at all, how so many thousands of people are doing it starts to get to you. I also see people do it wrong a lot. Again, like, they'll make their little vision board, they'll put up their Lamborghini, and then they'll, go to work at Popeyes and wonder why they still don't have a Lamborghini. Like you have to do something. There's a joke like that where this person's like, dear God, please let me win the lottery. Please let me win the lottery. Please let me win the lottery. And that person prays that way for days and days and days and days. And finally, like thunder and lightning strike and the heavens open up and God looks down and goes, why don't you buy a ticket?
Yeah, right.
Maybe you'd win the lottery if you actually played. Well, that's the same thing in this. If you play, you're going to get a chance. You can't just sit back.
I think also that people don't realize you're saying things to yourself all the time anyway. All the time anyway. Yep. It's just bad things mostly. We play kind of, if you'll excuse the boomer reference, but you use a cassette tape in your head and it plays so fast, like on such a fast speed, you don't even realize you're doing it anymore. But if you were to slow down what you're thinking at any given time, you're saying some pretty bad things about yourself. Probably. Most people are. Like, oh, I screwed it up again, or oh, I broke it again, or oh, of course it didn't work out. Gosh, I'm so stupid, or I never understand these things. And you're saying these horrible things to yourself and you don't even realize it. So it may seem stupid to stop and replace those things with affirmations. It may feel artificial at first, but you're saying stuff to yourself anyway. It might as well be good stuff.
Absolutely. And by the way, it is amazing. I've done this exercise a few different times where I've said to people, I'll explain what the inner critic is about. I'll explain the kinds of thing an inner critic says. And I'll say, and I need you to pretend to be the inner critic for me for just a minute. Ready, go. 100% of people can imitate the inner critic because we're all saying these things to ourselves. Whether or not we're even the most positive person in the world, we can access it because it never goes away. It's in me any day of the week. I just have chosen to turn that volume down and turn up the volume on what I've been calling an inner coach. And that one, I just sort of give mantras, I'm ready. Now it's up, that kind of a thing. Ready has been one of my favorite ones, or like on station, just because it's that idea of I'm here, I'm ready to execute. And that really helps me. The other one is if I'm not sure what to do next, I just say, well, just start. Just start, and then we'll figure it out. And that one's helped a lot. And so they're all like, a lot of mine are action based. And the reason is because I find that mantras work really powerfully when we're between actions. You know, when we're procrastinating, we're worried, we're what-ifing ourselves to death. And so I always try to come up with an action one. One of my other ones is decide, and then see what happens. And then if something's not right, we'll figure that out and keep going. You know, decide is one of my most powerful mantras right now, because a lot of our time is wasted on decision. You could probably say that for your life.
Right. I think anybody can. I actually once worked for a guy who loved to let things pile up on his desk because after enough time passed, the decision would be out of his hands. He actually liked being unburdened that way. But these things affected him directly and affected our, the business that we were in. And all I could think was, you really don't want to take 20 minutes and just be like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, and consciously shape the direction of your business. You want decisions taken away from you.
I know an idiot like that too.
But not me. I'm like, yes or no right now. We're doing it or we're not doing it. And I err on the side of doing things. And every now and then you get burned, but I'd rather get burned that way than let things atrophy. Yeah. I think. Deb says mantras can be a great way to help you take the next step, not all the steps. It's funny because if you ever watch someone doing it, like on a show or something, it looks really silly. Like on Mr. Robot, there was a character that they had who would say things like, my success is assured. And she was listening to these things and it seemed ridiculous. And I think you only even saw it for 1 or 2 episodes. But if you actually try it in your own life, you won't eventually you won't realize you're doing it even. It will become natural and you'll just act in a way that's in accordance with what you're saying. So like I had a boxing class I was taking before the pandemic and the coach used to make us say things like, I win, win, win. All I do is win and all this stuff. And when you start taking that in, then you stop thinking things like, ugh, I can't do this crypto thing. It's too complicated. And you start thinking, I win. It's what I do. I'll find a way to make this work. I can make this work. And it just changes the way you approach things. And I really feel like that's how attraction works. Like you're never going to get what you want if you never speak or act in a way that is in line with getting what you want, This makes sense.
Right. Well, and then, and Deb says that saying mantras out loud can be very powerful. Absolutely. Out loud I hate that it makes a difference, but it feels like it does. There's another point to this too. And I wrote about this in my newsletter the other day, which is, and I might've even tweeted about it, is a lot of times the other thing we do by mistake is we look and head and spend our time and aim towards the obstacle. We aim towards the thing that's going to cause us the problem because we're thinking about it a lot. It's sort of that, it's just really, this is a really basic thing, but in the English language, we do it a lot. We put don't and negative phrases. Don't hit that phone pole. Well, what is that? What is most of that sentence's payload? Hit that phone pole, right? And so your brain goes, oh, that phone pole. Oh, right, you're right. I should totally pay attention to that. I'm looking right at that phone pole. It could be the only pole in the whole field. And now you're driving towards it, right? Because it's in your head. Don't hit that phone pole. So it's so much easier to say, aim towards that mountain. Go that way. Keep your eyes open. Look for the thing. You know what I mean? And that's going to help a lot better.
Because if you've got your eyes set on the path, then even if you're not looking down and you trip or stumble or something, you're still on the path. You'll get there.
Absolutely right. You're 100% right. So I have a question. We have one thing that we could do is we could play a little bit of loaded questions.
Little bit.
We have a couple of questions we can ask the few people who've come and said hello.
So they're Thanksgiving themed loaded questions that Eric Poses wrote for us. He actually wrote them for us last year. He wasn't able to join us, but I think they're pretty funny questions. So first, though, I have one to ask. This is very self-serving. What would you want to layer into your pie cakein? Like if you could make your own pie cakein, what would you want in it?
I like this. And so there's at least one pie layer and 2 cake layers. Is that how that goes?
I mean, I'm flexible. Okay. Boston cream pie is actually a cake, but if you feel strongly about it, throw it in there.
Pie cakein.
Like your favorite things. And everybody, like all of you too, if you put in the comments what you want in your pie cakein, I would love to know what you think would go well together.
Pumpkin, Boston cream, and apple crisp.
That's interesting.
I would let them collapse on top of each other because I think that the pumpkin and the chocolate would go nicely together. And I think that the crunchy part of the apple crisp and the sort of fruit tartness will really pop it in together.
I mean, I wouldn't have put those things together, but it's not like you put key lime pie in there. So
I did not. That would be Harold. Harold going to frozen yogurt with Harold is an experience and going, really?
I feel like I would want chocolate. I mean, I would need chocolate in there somewhere. So probably there would be like chocolate cream pie in there. And then I would put with it something else that doesn't go, like Indian pudding. Like something that's not so sweet in there with my chocolate cream pie. I mean, it would be gross and nobody would eat it but me, but that's actually perfect.
Even better.
That's all I want. Yeah.
Well, how about our backpacker friends? Anybody want to add something to their pie cakein? You basically pick 3 desserts and smush it together. So,
I mean, you could even have ice cream in there. I mean, let's be realistic. Some people like to top things with ice cream. I used to make baked Alaska. When I was young, I used to make things that were complicated just to see if I could do it. And baked Alaska is just cake with ice cream in it. And then you seal it all in like a meringue that you set on fire. So the meringue kind of seals in like the ice cream so it doesn't melt. But I did, and I got so good at meringue, but it was ridiculous. Do you have any idea, like in a household of 4 people, because my sister had moved out by then, how many of them are going to eat baked Alaska on any given day? It's not a lot.
I mean, probably not a lot of days.
It's not a lot. It was a waste.
Wow, we have nobody wanting to answer the pie cake.
Well, I can understand it could be controversial. It could be controversial. Ooh. How about this? For what or whom do you not want to give thanks this Thanksgiving? See, this is the opposite of all the attraction stuff, right?
Yeah, now we're negative.
That's one thing you're not being this year is negative.
That's true.
Oh, apple pie, vanilla ice cream cake, and key lime pie. I can see that. I wasn't sure about the key lime pie because it's such a powerful flavor, but I could see where it might like actually set off the apple really nicely.
Yeah, like and if you think about how sometimes they make orange creamsicle by doing orange and vanilla, you know, it's a citrus and a citrus. You can almost see that happening.
Oh, Elizabeth says peanut butter, chocolate, Dunkin', blueberry makes the gluten-free cardboard taste better. So what's Dunkin'? Now I feel like I need to know. Is it like Dunkin'?
Heinz?
That's what I was thinking, but that could be like anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh. Joseph Jaffe says not thankful for infections. So
I know. Get out of the hospital already. Dude, he keeps going back and forth to the hospital like he's got some kind of frequent flyer pass. After 10 visits, you don't get one free.
So for me, like I'm not thankful for loss. I know it's part of life and I deal with it like everybody has to. I'm not like thankful for it. I am very thankful for the time I have with people I love. That I'm thankful for. And the lessons that I learn and like the time that we do get, endlessly thankful for.
So this year alone, you had your mom, you had Uncle Pete,
Uncle
Phil. Why am I saying Pete all the time?
Well, if we're talking the last 12 months.
Yeah.
My Aunt Gail.
Your Aunt Gail as well.
Yep. My mom's longtime companion, Pete.
That's
my Uncle Phil, my mom. And then if you back it up just another like 6 months, it's pretty much my whole family. My other aunt, my other uncle. It's all my parents' relatives, like brothers, sisters, cousins, whatever. They're all like all done.
Yeah. You should be done by now.
No, I'm the old people in my family. Me, my brother and sister. We're the old people in the family now. So voice to text. Dunkin' was supposed to be maple syrup. Oh.
Very similar.
So thank you. So actually, we had somebody on who makes maple syrup. It's what they do. Remember Passamaquoddy maple?
Passamaquoddy maple.
And it was so good. So what's good about their stuff is that they put maple sugar in it. Like it's not like regular sugar plus maple. It's like maple sugar to begin with. So it's extra mapley. So Passamaquoddy maple, I have a hoodie of theirs that I got. Such good stuff. Right into the mix too. Like they have pancake mix made with maple sugar. So your pancakes already taste mapley. So if you're a fan, definitely go get that. I would say.
I am not thankful for, or I don't want to be thankful for, other people's big giant emotions, when they're kind of going through their particular meltdowns of choice. But that's, I need to get better at that, because that's not an especially proactive mindset either. But it seems like there's a lot of people just having their day, and I'm seeing it spit against like customers in places or employees in places. I was was walking through the casino in Vegas, and I saw this guy on the blackjack table just start yelling at the dealer, just like going nuts. And I stopped what I was doing and waited, because I thought I was going to have to introduce him to the floor. And he kind of calmed down on his own really quick. But I just think it's nuts how we're attacking workers and retailers and stuff. So
I think maybe people forgot how to be human in society when they were locked down for so long. Like, they just forgot.
Yeah.
To think
Have a
about
good
other
meeting,
people's
Elizabeth.
feelings. You got to remember other people's feelings. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah. So that was kind of a tough. That was a tough question. It turned out.
As it turned out.
Yeah.
Or here's an easier one. What's the best way to cap off a Thanksgiving meal?
Oh, you mean not counting the nap, like before the nap? Yeah,
Not counting the nap.
I think you've got a good point. not counting the nap. Okay. Man, mulled cider. I love mulled cider.
I was just thinking a toast, like a toast.
Yeah.
To all the people who were able to come together.
Yeah.
I think would be nice.
I think that would be
got
great.
all like hazy, like you have a filter of sunlight in front of you now. Because the sun moved. You got all like sunny, and it looks very very like otherworldly. Sunny. Yeah, that's all sun.
Okay.
There we go. We have to work out this area, huh? I love that thing behind you.
Thank you. That is a mural from the Ukraine. That's Batman and Superman, awesome. And there's a little bit of Wonder Woman hidden in there. And it was, I love it. Ridiculously inexpensive for what it was too. It was like, $80, $90 or something.
That's so cool.
So
love it.
I guess you'll get some of my chairs in the background now.
Oh wow. Cool. So and I vote toast, you vote mulled cider. Those two answers are kind of complementary. I would say. Deb Lee says wine and ice cream and a game of Clue.
Clue.
I am from the era when I actually had a VHS version of Clue. Where you had to stop the tape and make your accusation and stuff. I got it for Christmas one year.
Do you remember when the Clue movie came out and they did that thing where it was different answers to different movie theaters?
Oh yeah, I do. I think people kind of freaked out about that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. It was this thing where like in one theater it would have been Tim Curry did it, and another theater some other person did it, and it's kind of nuts.
Yeah, I wonder if people tried to get to a specific one, like I want the one where Miss Scarlet did it.
Right. Hey, so I'm going to show another doodah with mindset stuff. I just grabbed this randomly off YouTube, so it could be terrible, but I'm just going to click it and we'll just take a look at it really quick. Just even a piece of it.
You're going to get copyrighted.
That was that bad music. Here, I'm going to skip a little.
Tree is always by my side. I'm truly blessed in my physique that excites admiration and in my natural intrepidity. In boldness, I'm a golden-winged eagle among other birds.
All right, can't do it. Can't do it.
What? Hit the limits. Your physique excites admiration.
And intrepidity? Like, that's not even really a word. It's probably a word, but it's not a good word.
There is this other book that you've recommended a few different times that I actually keep here, and I read like little snippets of it when I get a chance. Specifically about money.
Absolutely.
Called The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel.
Morgan Housel's book is great. I also read another one, Millionaire Mindset by Dean Graziosi. Housel's book gives you a lot more backgroundy kind of stuff. It tells you a lot about how some really world famous people did what they did. But it's definitely an interesting one. Graziosi is just a little more what's the word I want? Accessible. And the other thing to say about Graziosi's book is that it is full of activities to do. And I found myself, I wouldn't even go forward in the book until I'd get out a notebook and actually fill out the doodah. So that'd be that. So
I keep my if you call them mantras, I keep them simple. It's like, I win, I can do this. As long as I do what's necessary, I can get this done. I am capable. Like, it's whatever. I am doing this. That's powerful, because then there'll be times that I'm like, when you feel like you can't do something, it's like, I am doing it. I am doing it. So if I were to say I can't do crypto, it's like, well, I am doing it. So obviously have done, am doing.
Right. I vary my mantras and my mindset stuff. And then my affirmations and gratitude, I also work on. Sometimes I fill that thing out massively. And other times I just kind of go through slowly. Sometimes I'll just write myself a little passage. So I'll give you an example. Mantra and mindset. This is from November 7th. Wealth is all around me. Jay-Z said that patience and persistence were the tools, and he's right. Rob Dyrdek makes his money with cash producing real estate like storage units or multifamily, or I forgot the third one it says. But also through an accelerator designed to get him a bunch of faster exits. I said I could do the same with venture capital or private equity. So if that's the real story, then I just have to get back to being patient. And then I just said I need to spend way more time with people way smarter than me to learn even more things and learn their ways and ask about their projects. So even in my mantras, I found activities that I wanted to go after. And that kind of gives me a path, a place to walk forward into. And so I thought that was kind of useful.
Deb Lee says, I am a productive person who focuses on the right things at the right times.
That's a good one. It's a good one. Although I have spent years battling productivity as a process, only because a lot of times people see the checked off check boxes as the goal and not as a tool. So I've had that with Mike Vardy, and I've had that brawl on air, and his pal Eric. And
you love to brawl on air.
I do. I love to have that conversation, because specifically with something like productivity, it leads to a lot of what I call noble masturbation. It leads to a lot of, I did this thing that I feel good that I did, even though it doesn't do anything for me except check a box. And so, not all productivity is like that. Deb certainly has spent a whole career doing some really cool stuff in that space. So I'm not like fighting Deb's approach. The minute I see that word, I go, I don't know, but it's just me. It's just one of my trigger words.
But the way you fight with people is really fun to watch, actually.
Yeah, because it's with love, and it's to find the right things and the best experiences. Hey, we've come to a certain part of the show that we sometimes get.
Oh, and here's our person of the day. Kaboom!
So
who's it going to be today? I'm so excited.
I don't really know. There's a whole lot of choices. Checkboxes are the steps, not the end results. Yeah. For definitely sure, especially when I'm dealing with depression. Okay, so you know what? I was just looking through everybody, and I'm going to say we'll go with Joseph, because he had to deal with all those infections.
Oh,
and
Joseph.
Maybe if he's person of the day and he eats the apple, he'll feel better.
That's right. Antioxidants or something.
Yeah.
Some good qualities. Feel better, Joseph.
Feel better, Joseph. Hey, Kerry, if you wanted to help with the future, what would you put in your backpack today for this Thanksgiving morning?
Miniature Chris Brogan to call me on all my BS.
Oh, I like that idea. Anywhere I can get closer to you, I'm into it.
So anytime I'm saying those things to myself that people say without thinking about it, you could be like, well, what about this? And I'd be like, damn it, he's right. Mini Chris Brogan. I'll zip you back in there.
All right. And what goes in my backpack? Oh, I didn't put our thing back. What goes in my backpack? Well, I can't put a mini you, because then that would just be weird. It'd be like Donnie and Marie. But I'll say maybe a delicious small carrot cake because it'd be a good season to walk around with one.
It would. It's like spicy the way that, traditional holiday desserts have a little bit of spice in them, but it's not like the usual. So I could see that. Cream cheese frosting, I feel like that's a must.
Gotta have cream cheese frosting. I mean, who would do it any other way, really?
Your grandmother, maybe?
Oh man, she made all the great desserts. She made all of them, but there was one that everybody always said there was a controversy, and you might also disagree with me, but I'm going to put it out there.
Ugh. Rhubarb.
Some people